Hello, border collie geeks, and welcome to a new episode. Let me just quickly swap microphone. I wasn't ready. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be my first podcast episode that I am uploading on YouTube as well. And in the episode, I recorded the episode thinking that I was recording audio and video. Turns out that I didn't have the option selected, so I was recording only audio, which means that annoyingly, um, you're not going to see my face, but it doesn't really matter. I've got a nice, pretty picture of the farm, kite, and the sheep. There is captions so you can read if you don't want to listen. And I'm going to try to be better on the next one where I have now selected as an option video and audio at the same time. So I just made this video extra just to let you know that although I say that I'm recording audio and video, that has not happened. So you're only going to see a picture and the captions, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, Border Collie Geeks, and welcome to a new episode. I have been lacking of recording episodes for a long while, and I really apologize, but I have good excuses. My first excuse is that we've been lambing, and if you follow me on social media, you've seen how many lambs we've got, and that we've been busy lambing. It's our first lambing, so we are learning a lot, and I need to try to be available as much as possible because if a sheep needs help, then I need to get out with the dogs and help catching it, which means that we'll put it in a pen where we can assist her. So I need to be always available. So I've tried to be available as much as possible, working less than usual. I have recorded actually a couple of episodes, but then I haven't had time to edit them, and I don't remember what I was telling in those episodes, so I decided not to publish them. And then I've had a big cold. My voice is not 100% back to normal. I've had a big cold, and I was coughing, I was sneezing. I might even be coughing now. I might have to edit this. I don't know. There is a big news that I want to tell you. I'm recording this episode with the video as well, and I'm going to upload these episodes from now on, and maybe some of the old ones if I get a chance to edit them. I'm going to upload them on YouTube, so the podcast has its own channel as well. So if you want to watch me, not just hear me, then you can go and follow me on YouTube, Martina the Border Collie Geek. And I'm going to upload there some videos as well of the dogs, training, the farm, a bit of everything. And I will do some podcasts where there's going to be some visual as well. And I'm going to let you know when that happens so that you know that, I might be talking about things that I'm showing. And for that, you can still listen to it, but you could also go and watch it and not just listening. But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things, but I've not really had a chance to do it yet. So hopefully things are calming down now. And this is the first podcast in a while. So this is going to be a Q&A podcast. I have reopened my Facebook group related to the podcast, the Border Collie Geek Learning Hub. And I have asked for questions, and my members have asked some questions. They also have suggested some episodes, which I am going to, consider. And a few of them I'm going to already, I had them in plan to do. And so this episode is going to be about Q&A. I just wanted to give a bit of an introduction. I'm going to do an episode for Kite and his progression in training, although if you've been following me on social media, you probably have seen a bit, but I'm going to do a proper podcast episode with some consideration, because growing up a puppy like him, raising a puppy like him, and training a puppy like him, which is not like any of my others because they're all different, gave me a chance. And also doing it in a farm context with a different perspective from the ones that I had before by raising a puppy as a pet dog or as sport dogs has raised some consideration that I want to give you. So I'm going to do a podcast episode specifically on that. So yeah, I'll do a podcast episode for Kite, and I'll do a podcast episode for the farm at some point as well, because I've not done Farm Chronicle episode since the very first one. And yeah, it's just there's a lot to talk about, so I need to write down everything, making sure I talk about everything. And of course, remember that we are first-time farmers and we're still learning, and we had great support from friends and family, and we're going to keep learning in the next few years anyway. So I'm jumping to the post on the Border Collie Geek Podcast Learning Hub, the Facebook group. And the first question is from Natalie Jones, that said at the beginning, resource guarding and territorial barking. Now, guys, if you are in that group and when I come out with this post, please be specific. So I asked Natalie to be specific, and she said, Bonnie, 6 months, resource guards toys outside and chews and bones, not a food bowl. If she picks up a stick on a walk, she won't drop it and will guard it and growl. So I have talked about nipping and resource guarding about Kite in a previous episode. So Natalie, if you're listening to this, go and listen to my previous episodes, because I talk about resource guarding there. So I don't believe that if she's not guarding the bowl and she's not guarding, other food items, it is very possible that resource guarding to toys, chews, bones, and sticks is actually being created. But I don't know enough about it, so I'm just guessing. So resource guarding, Kite had a little bit of resource guarding, which now is not resource guarding, and that tells me that it wasn't resource guarding before. It's just possessiveness, and possessiveness can show in, I want to keep it, it's mine, I gained it, it's my precious, and I want it. So it could be that she's just simply very, very possessive, and you haven't taught her that when you want to take something away from her, you're going to give something in return. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Of course, I'm not sure if it's your case, but if you haven't, I would really work on, and I'm going to okay, so I've got a tutorial on this, and I'm going to give it for you all for free, which is how, and it's not my technique, it's from Chirag Patel, which is the drop, teaching the dogs to drop technique, which is teaching them that drop doesn't mean I want what you have, but drop means I'm going to give you something back on the floor. I'm going to give you something on the floor. So dogs very quickly learn that drop or leave doesn't mean that you want what they have. It means that you're going to give. And eventually that will transfer in. If you got something, look, I've got something for you. Now the problem, and then eventually you can then work on picking up the thing that they have and then give it back to them after feeding them treats on the floor. So that they learn that you're never going to really take things away from them. Because that's the problem. That's how resource guarding starts. She's got something, you want to take it away from her, but you're not teaching her that you don't want the thing because you want it for yourself. And they don't understand that. They don't understand that you don't want the thing for yourself. They don't understand that maybe what they have is not healthy for them. Like, I don't let my dogs, I let them chew on little sticks. I don't let them chew on big, big logs that might splinter. So I have to take it away from them. And I need them to be able to drop it so I can take it away from them. But if you ration it, if you try to grab it from their mouth and you don't have taught them that actually you're going to give something back that needs to be, especially if this behavior has been rehearsed a long time, that something that you give him back needs to be valuable enough for the dog. So you need to use either another toy, or you need to use another chew, or you need to use a really high value food so that what they get in return is actually good enough. Now, because I started this with Kite very early, anything I give him when I say drop is going to make him drop what he has, because it becomes an automatic response. If I say drop, whatever he's got in his mouth is let go, comes and grab it. Even sometimes sheep poo. I say sometimes because sometimes he doesn't, and he will eat the sheep poo that he has in his mouth, especially if it's small. If it's big, he will take a chunk out of it and then he will drop and come and get the treat that I give him. And then I distract him and take him away from that big chunk of sheep poo. Although I'm picking my battles and I'm not making it too much of an effort to remove sheep poo from his mouth, because at the end of the day, I know it's my sheep, it's healthy, it doesn't have any worms in it, it doesn't have any pesticide, it doesn't have anything in it that is bad for the dog. It's literally grass that is being digested and digested and digested. So it's not that bad, and he got used to it to the point that it used to give him bad tummy, it doesn't anymore, he got used to it. But apart from that, so make sure that you you practice even before she's got something in her mouth. You know, when she's doing nothing, grab a handful of treats and say drop, and drop food on the floor. Like a handful, not one, a handful. And then grab another one, walk a couple of meters away and drop another handful on the floor. And then keep doing that and keep saying drop. Now, once eventually she has something in her mouth, if you have rehearsed this drop on the floor many times, she's got something in her mouth, you're going to say drop. She's not even thinking that you want what she has. She's going to drop to come and eat the food that you're giving her. And she might go back to the bone. She might go back to the toy. And that's fine. And you do it again. And you do it again. And then you walk away. So you're not letting her know that the reason why you're asking her to drop is because you want what she has, especially at the beginning. You could also say drop, put food on the floor, and then give her something else, and then go and collect what you wanted to take away from her. Foot sticks, for example, on a walk, I would have a very high value toy. I would ask her to drop the stick and I would give her the toy in return. But she needs to want that toy. So it needs to be something that you know she's going to want. But you have to work this in advance. You can't work it when she already has something that you want to take away from her. And the other problem is that sometimes we get stiff. We stare at the dog, we stare at the toy, we stare at the chew, and they know we want it. They are dogs that can read body language so well. Every dog can, but Border Collies specifically, they can read body language. If your attention, your focus, your body language is all about that thing they have in their mouth, they're not going to let go and they're going to guard it. Because if you look at dogs interacting with each other, they stare, especially Collies, they stare at each other. If one of the dogs has something, Jock will stare and he will go towards them and he will be all stiff and all tense, ready to dive in and take it away. So if you act like a dog that wants to steal it, they will definitely guard it if they don't want you to have it. So your body language has to be, I don't care what you have, drop. And then walk away, drop, walk away, drop. You can even, and that's what I was doing with Kite. So when Kite was little and he was guarding a bit, I used to do that. I used to do some sort of luring him away from the thing by doing drop, 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 drop. And by the time we were a few meters away, I would throw a treat away and I would go and collect what he had and take it away and make it disappear. So he didn't even know I had it. Because I wanted to be able to take him away from a potential dangerous thing that he was eating without him knowing that I wanted that thing. And this is how we got rid of it, really. He doesn't resource guard. He will run away with things still because he's cheeky, and we can always exchange that thing for something else. Yesterday, I was putting, and I'm going to do a podcast episode in my garden at some point with a video, so you see my management in the garden. When I get people saying, oh, my puppy digs this, my puppy eats that, what do I do? Well, you put management in place, and I will show you all my management, because even though he's nearly 5 months, I keep adding management to my garden to avoid him destroying this and that. So I was putting a new bit of fence in the garden. I'm looking sideways if you're watching this on YouTube, because that's my garden. And he grabbed the scissors and ran away with them. And that was a no-no. So I didn't have food on me. I didn't have toys on me, but I had gardening gloves, and he loves to steal gardening gloves. So I had both gardening gloves. I grabbed them and I said, you know what? If he runs away with my gardening gloves, I have all the time in the world to go and grab a treat and then ask him to give me back the gardening gloves or a toy. But I don't want him to chew scissors. So I've shown him a gardening glove and he went like, nah, this is novelty. I want to keep it. So what I did, I throw the gardening glove like he was a toy, and the movement was enough for him to go, I want that now. So he dropped the scissor, went and grabbed the gardening glove, and while he was running away so he didn't see me, I grabbed the scissor, put it in my pocket. By the time he turned around, the scissor wasn't there anymore. I told him he was a good boy. He actually let go of the gardening glove at that point as well and went off chewing something else. It's about being clever, but having also good timing. Now, Natalie's second question is territorial barking in the garden. She can't see people walk past the fence, but she can hear them. Try to get her distracted with food and bring her inside, but she runs off and continues to bark. Now, I don't have a quick answer to this, Natalie, because I would have to assess whether that is fear, because I don't know if she's okay with people in general. I don't know if she's like that at the windows, for example. So it's more people going past the house, or if she has this behavior in other situations. So I don't have an actual answer, because I don't have enough information about her and about her behavior. What I would do is I would have a long line on her in the garden. So I will give you a management plan. But then if you need help with a training plan, then we need to go down more into specific. And for that, please get in touch via message or email so I can help with this. And if anyone is having any similar issue, we can work on this. And so my plan would be at the moment having her not long line on her, and a long line has to be as long as it needs to be. In the garden, normally for me is between 2 to 3 meters, because otherwise you'll get stuck in things, and it's going to be more the time I need to rescue him than the time I need to use the long line for something. He doesn't anymore have a long line kite, but he would have long line like until a few weeks ago to manage specific behaviors. So long line on. So when that starts, you can grab a long line and she doesn't get to practice the behavior. You need to be there, of course. If she's doing it while you're not there, that's another big issue that we need to talk about, because then she's not allowed in the garden at the moment if she can repeat a behavior that you can't stop. You grab the long line and you literally, walk her away. And the training needs to start when things are under control. You are not stopping that behavior while it's already happening. You have to manage situation so that the behavior doesn't happen anymore, or you can easily interrupt it and move it away. And then training starts. I don't know how your garden is structured. I don't know how your house is structured, but training starts at a distance. So she's on a long line, she's on a lead. People are going to go past at that specific time of the day because it's busier. And you are going to do some training at distance for her to ignore people going past and give an alternative behavior. And then from there, we introduce alternative behaviors. That is the dog either going and lying down on a bed or looking back at you, going grab a toy. There are many different alternative behavior we can teach. But if it's just territorial, if it's just the fun of, I can hear someone, I can't see them, so I'm going to chase because that's fun, then management and train alternative behaviors. Of course, train a good recall. My dogs will go off barking at things they think they've heard. I call them away. But that type of recall, when the dog is already barking, requires a lot of training, it requires also the dog to be at a certain maturity. I can't do it with my puppy. If he starts barking now at 5 months old, I can't call him away. I would not expect him to come away from a barking situation if he thinks he's barking because something dangerous or worrying is happening. I can't. So that's why the long line in those situations is important, because I can grab a long line and say, come on, let's go. But I can call my other dogs away if they start barking at something because they think someone is at the door, someone is someone is outside of our garden. But that takes time, and it takes maturity, and it takes training. And of course, ultimately, we need to know why the dog is doing it. Is he doing it just because they hear a noise and they want to, tell you that there is a noise? Or are they doing it because they're scared? And then there is so much more to work on. There's a lot of layers. It's not that such an easy answer to give. But that's the quickest way you can do management and avoid the behavior, and then train from a distance. And training from a distance means, can she disengage when she hears people and actually do some behaviors for you? Can she call away when she's on a long line and all that? Now, does she have a 100% recall in other situations? Because again, if she doesn't have a good recall, which at 6 months old I wouldn't expect her to have, then I wouldn't expect her to be able to come back from that situation if you're calling her. It takes longer than 6 months. Well, you had her for 4 only of a life to get to the level that she can answer you and listen to you in that specific situation. Okay, Holly Chapman. I would be great to hear more stories on the podcast. I enjoy listening to Alfie and Tibbs. I will ask other students to come and record with me, for sure. I will do possibly one, if she's listening to me, she'll know I'm talking about her, on ignoring livestock, because I've had a student that worked with me for 12 weeks on ignoring livestock, and I might interview her if she wants to. Stephanie Van Elzake. Hi Martina, would a border collie be a good breed to be a buddy dog for autism ADD? I myself have been late diagnosed with this, and I was wondering, seeing border collies are so clever and can pick up on things very quickly, would it be suitable for being a buddy dog? I'm not talking about an assistant dog here. I hear something about dogs being able to pick up on rise of stress level as such. So this is my opinion. I'm not saying that what I'm going to say here is everyone's opinion or scientific matters. I think in a level of as a emotional support dog for adults, if you select the right type, and possibly that might not be a working dog, or if it's a working dog, it needs to be specific temperament and lines, then yes, we have one of our tollers, which are not exactly like border collies, but they have similar trait. They're quite sensitive dogs. They pick up on emotions very easily. That is an assistant dog and emotional and support dog, and she's doing amazingly. And she's only a year old, that we've bred and gave to someone that is using her an assistant dog. And by assistant dog, I means that she goes around with her owner and supports her in social situations with some behaviors, but mainly just by being there for her. So I think that collies potentially can be good for that. I would not suggest this for a young kid or a child. I don't think collies are the right dogs for that. They are not emotionally stable enough to be support for young kids, but for adults they could be, I think. But they need to be the right dog, because if you then end up with a dog that is already anxious itself and already that needs emotional support themselves, and a lot of collies do, then of course, you might find that you're okay with each other, but it might be also hard because you need a support for your emotions and for your, social interactions, and the dog might not always be there for you. So it needs to be the right dog. But I think any dog, for an adult especially, can be great if you have the right dog to actually help you navigating situations and social situation especially. So my answer is yes, if you select the right dog. And Stephanie, if you're in the UK, welcome to get in touch and I can help you. It doesn't mean that you have to go for a show line, but it's selecting the right working type that is got a balanced temperament that can cope with coming with you around places where you need the dog to be there and be solid. Jennifer Narissa Davis, is it true that border collies prefer the company of other border collies to other dogs? That's a very good question. I think that border collie likes to be in a group. They do like it. My dogs like to be in a group. Maybe Jock doesn't that much. He would prefer to be a solo dog. But I do think he likes actually company of other dogs, although it doesn't always show that way. And he likes to be the boss of everyone else. He bosses everyone else around and he enjoys it. And I think he would miss that. I think that part of border collie enrichment is to be with other dogs. And I think part of border collie enrichment is to be with other border collies, because dogs that are similar to them, they act all similar. They have a similar way to play and a similar way of interaction. There are, I think, dogs that don't go very well with border collies and dogs that do, in my experience. So my border collie likes spaniel types. They like Labrador types. They like sighthounds type, but they don't like boxers, any kind of big, bull terrier type dog. They don't like mastiffs. They don't like those type of dogs. They don't like them. They don't understand them. They don't have the same way to communicate. They don't have the same way to play. They don't have the same way. They have these, strange faces that my dogs can't read. So they can be very specific to what type of dogs they like and what type of dog they don't like. So the answer is yes and no. I think it's more to do with similar dogs to themselves. So tollers, for example, and border collies go quite well together. And spaniels, I think, and border collies go quite well together. And sighthounds and border collies go quite well together. My dogs don't like huskies that much, for example, and things like that. But yeah. Kathy Doherty asked me, perhaps something cooperative care and specific training for vets visit for dogs that still get a bit anxious when touched. Definitely, Kathy, I'm going to do an episode on that. I've got it in my list. It's already there, structured. I just need to record it. So it's going to be one of my next episodes for sure. I've got 2 or 3 already that I am going to record soon. Yeah, that was it. Thank you for your questions. If you want to ask me questions, I will do it once a month on the group, and otherwise just send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on Facebook, and I will keep your question for when I record one of these. So before I finish the episode, I just would like to give you something. It's been a year of changes for me, and I feel very lucky that I am in the position I am with the farm and with my dogs and living the dream at the moment. So I want to give something back. If you're a podcast listener, and only for your podcast and YouTube listeners as well at this point, I'm not going to post this anywhere else. I would like to give you a discount, a 10% discount to join my Collie Club. And that will be active on the monthly or on the 3-month subscription only. And it's going to be valid for the whole month of May. So I'm going to remind this to you every single episode that I record and publish in May, hopefully more than one. So I'm going to put in the show notes the code and the link for the code. My Collie Club, for the one of you that don't know, that have not listened to me before, is my online membership where you can join anytime from all over the world, and you join a small community. I think it's 55 people at the moment, so it's fairly small, and I like it. That is not 2,000 people, where we train together. We have specific topics. We have workshops and webinars. Workshop is where I work my dogs and you can work your dog at the same time online on Zoom. Webinars is where I talk about something specifically. Sometimes I have guests as well. And then we have monthly teams. We're going to work on recall training next and hill work in the next couple of months. Sorry. And I give you weekly weekly homework. You can video your exercises, post them on a Sunday, and on a Monday evening we go live on Zoom every week, and I will give you feedback, watch the videos with you, answer all your questions, and support you in your training. And you get access to all my training videos and tutorials and webinars. So all the webinars I sell, which are on my website, datoldoacademy.com/webinars. You can all have them for free if you join the Collie Club, which starts from £60 a month, but with a 10% discount, then you will get it a bit cheaper. So get in touch. Well, get in touch. Look in the show notes, and you will find the link to join me, and you can join me. And the price, the 10% discount, will stay in your subscription until you cancel. So if you join now, you will keep that for the next 6, 7, 8, 12 months, as long as you want to stay. You can stay as long as you want, or you can cancel as soon as your subscription, before your next subscription is coming through. I hope to see some of you on the Collie Club. We have a good bunch of people that are all supporting each other, and that's the good thing about it. And if you're in the UK and you are, you can drive to me, then we plan at least once a month, if we can, a Collie Club training day. So we all meet at my farm and we train together, and we have a nice little local community of people that now see each other and train together once a month, which is very nice. I really like that. And we have a drink and we have something to eat, and we just walk around the farm together. And I got them to try and work tay once, and it's very nice. It's good community feeling. So I'll leave you with this, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode. Bye.